me, please? Yeah, that one. You can think of plastic like a train. There are many different types of trains, but they're all made up of a bunch of cars all linked together. And plastics are the same way. They're a bunch of small molecules called monomers, all linked together into really big molecules. And these monomers are mostly made of hydrogen and carbon, so we call them hydrocarbons. And when you link a whole bunch of these monomer cars together, you form a polymer. Poly just means many. So a polymer is just many monomers. In a moment of beautifully clear naming communication, a lot of plastics are actually named after their monomers, like polyethylene, which is a bunch of ethylene molecules all linked together. Poly, many, ethylene. In a less clear naming moment, we also call plastics organic. This isn't organic like organic farming, but is rather just because there's lots of carbon in the plastics monomer cars. Now, carbon is the main element in all life on Earth, from humans to mushrooms to fish to insects to plants. We call them organic because they got lots of carbon. Carbon is the main thing in all of them. So plastics are organic just because there's lots of carbon. And to potentially make this just plain confusing, we also call plastics synthetic. Now, this is because all the plastics polymers have to be put together by humans. They do not just spontaneously occur in nature. So synthetic. Okay, putting that together, we've got synthetic, organic polymers that have to be assembled by humans. You still with me? Excellent. All aboard. Now, most of the polymers found, this train is upside down. Most of the polymers found in plastic come from fossil fuels. So from things like oil, natural gas, or coal. This train's all funky now. Oil, natural gas, or coal through a process called fractional distillation. Very simply, this means you heat up the fossil fuel and the hydrocarbon molecules of different size all separate out. It'd be like taking a big chunk of metal, heating it up, and having a whole bunch of train cars pop out, which is not at all how trains are made, but just go with it. Now, once they're separated and they're linked together into polymers, they're mixed with other things called additives. On our train, additives could be things like paint colors, and ladders, and doors, and windows, and lights, things that change the train in a whole bunch of different ways. In plastics, there are four main additive categories. There are colorants that change the color, plasticizers that make the plastic easier to shape, stabilizers that make the plastic break down less in sun and heat, and fillers that are less expensive than the oil-based hydrocarbons. So they make the end product cheaper to produce. And while these can be good, these additives, they also can be toxic when they leach into the environment, like certain phthalates used as plasticizers. But anyway, once the additives are added, we call a plastic polymer a resin. Now, resins can be in the form of powders or pellets that are heated up and molded into the shapes of plastic that we know that are all around us. Well, for thermoplastics, that is. Just like there are cargo trains and passenger trains, there are two main types of plastic, thermoplastics and thermosets. Thermoplastics are the kind that you're used to. They're the ones that can be heated up and remolded over and over and over and over. Well, thermosets are a little different. They are things like epoxies, really strong glues that once they harden and set, that's it. They cannot have their shape be changed. So, to summarize, plastics are synthetic, organic polymers that have to be assembled by humans. They're made from fossil fuels, and they get additives added to them to change their properties like color and strength. There we go. And then once these additives are added, the resin will be formed into powders or pellets that are shaped into all the plastics all around us, like in our clothing and around our food and in our electronics. It's like a train, you know, a train that like wakes you up at 4 a.m. every day, leaving you lying there in the dark, wondering how we got here. Anyway, next up, resin identification.